Talk to me. What do you think? Is it going to get dirty tonight?
Yeah, it might. I mean, look, this is what happens as an old Knicks fan who watched the Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley Knicks try to compete with the superior Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen Bulls. When you are at a talent deficit, when the other team is better at basketball than you, you have to turn the game into something that resembles basketball a little bit less. You have to change the game into something a little bit less like basketball because they're better at basketball than you. It's the same reason why a superiorly talented team, if you're the team on the flip side of that, if you have less talent, you want fewer possessions in the game. Because fewer possessions mean a lower score. It means toward the end of the game, it's a closer game, and luck can factor into the outcome to a greater degree. If you hit a couple shots, you can actually have a chance to win against a superior team. That's the kind of strategy the Celtics have to pursue because the Cavs are simply better than them because they have LeBron James and a team well constructed around them, and because they're rested, because since they're better, they went right through their playoff rounds, and the Celtics struggled more. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good prediction out of J.R. Smith, that the Celtics will try to turn this thing into something that resembles basketball a little bit less.
Well, first of all, I'm very, very fond of J.R. Smith. I go back to his days. I loved him in Denver. I loved it when he came to the New York Knicks. But this is a guy that got himself suspended for a game because of his hit on Crowder a couple of years ago and nearly cost some things. So we have to take the instigating element into consideration when it comes to J.R. Smith, too. Let's make sure we understand that he is not a saint. Having said all of that, nothing was more egregious than when Kelly Olynyk, separated the shoulder of Kevin Love. I thought that was a straight MMA move. I've said that on many, many occasions. I don't deviate from that. So when we ask the question, do you expect the Celtics to play dirty? I say no. Can I see that happening with Kelly Olynyk specifically? Yes, he's a rough, rugged dude. He gets physical. He won't hesitate to get physical. It's who he is. And, other than a set shot that had him looking like the second coming of Larry Bird in Game 7 against the Wizards the other night, Kelly Olynyk is a guy that makes his living on grit and being grimy and going after it. So it's entirely possible and plausible that he will do it. The Celtics themselves collectively, I don't see that in Avery Bradley. I don't see that in Isaiah Thomas. I don't see that in Al Horford. I don't see that in Crowder. I don't see that in this kid that I like a lot, in Jaylen Brown. I don't see that in the rest of these guys. But in Kelly Olynyk,
Marcus Smart,
I don't put anything. Well, Marcus Smart is different because I don't consider him to be dirty. But he's rough and rugged. Right. He's going to come after you. So is Avery Bradley.
Agreed.
They're going to be physical. They're not going to back down. They're going to go tit for tat. But if you don't do anything dirty to them, they won't do anything dirty to you. I don't find them to be instigators. I find Kelly Olynyk, not in the worst way, but I don't find Kelly Olynyk to be innocent in that regard. I find him to be a potential instigator because that's how he makes his money. He's the only. They don't have a shot blocker, so they have to impose their physical will on you. And he's one guy big enough, strong enough, and comfortable enough with the ruggedness to do it.
Yes, he also hides behind the oh, I'm a little bit clumsy and a little overeager, and come on, man. No one's buying that. We see what's going on. Here's the problem, Stephen A. What's the key to the Celtics trying to compete in this series? The key is stopping LeBron James's dribble. I brought up the fact that Baron Davis in for Charles Barkley the other night made a very good point concerning that. Got to stop that because he gets to the paint and everything else opens up. And
how you gonna do that?
He's a basketball genius and a great passer, etc. Well, that's the point. Part of that is you're going to have to get a little more physical. And I think that's partly what J.R. Smith is anticipating. You're going within the rules of basketball, particularly the way the game is called now and the way the rules are now, you're going to have to walk right up to the line. You're going to have to really push it in terms of what you can get away with to try to stop LeBron, to try to get him to pick up that dribble.
Here's what you do with LeBron. Here's what you do with LeBron. First of all, it's nothing that's going to work, but I'm just giving you a strategy. In terms of specifically pertaining to limiting his dribble, anytime he has the ball before he gets past half court, you put man on ball pressure on him from the moment he touches the ball, because Ty Lue is not going to want him dribbling the ball up the court if he has to be like a point guard in resistance, and have resistance dribbling the ball up the basketball court. He'll give it to somebody else, and then he'll move someplace without the ball to get the ball back. That's what you want to do. You want to make, to me, if I'm them, I let LeBron, meaning if I'm Boston, I want LeBron dribbling the ball up the court. I want him doing that because I want as much responsibility on his shoulders as possible, because to me, you're hoping, even though it's conditioned to the sublime, you're hoping that too much responsibility might distract him from just completely destroying you.